I will bring it in right now on our video screen, even though we don't have anybody in frame right now. We're going to get this thing going here in a minute. Today we are going to be talking about Linss. We've got Dan live in the studio. Hopefully you guys can hear what's going on. Again, a little audio check out there from anybody listening right now. Can anybody hear me? I'm going to put a little hello. Can you hear me on this? All right, so we got the comments here. Studio setup number 101. Rick, man, you hear a lot of static, huh, Barbara? How about now, Barb? Still a lot of static, huh? All right. Well, we don't want to do static, that's for sure. Static, tons of it. A lot of static. Hey, Steph. Still.
Yeah, so this, whatever that is,
Yeah.
is our static.
How about now, guys? You still got static? Still there, huh? Okay. So what we're going to do, I think what we're going to do is we're going to regroup on the audio here. Like I said, what we're doing, we've got a whole new one when I was a kid. Thanks, Billy. We obviously have some audio. Oh, it is better, Rick? Okay, good deal. That's good to know. I think what would be best is if we come back to you guys, and that way we can give you guys a quality stream here. We got a lot to talk about. Rick says it's better. How much better, guys? Do we still have static, or is it gone? It's good now. All right. Dan, you want to give us an audio check over there, buddy?
Check, 10-4, buddy.
All right, how we doing out there? Can you guys hear Dan okay over there in the distance? Clear. Awesome. All right. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and roll with this then, guys. I'm going to get over there in a minute, and we'll get things rolling. Want to make sure that you guys know we're brought to you today by Midwest. I want to thank them, of course, always for being our partners and bringing you some of the best big truck entertainment that's out there, and doing what we can to bring you guys something new, different, and exciting. On their behalf, I have a video that I want to show you guys. They have a lot of products that they utilize that we in the market do from time to time. In fact, I'm going to go in here and bring it over to you guys right now. Oh, man. You know, it's amazing, actually, some of the stuff that they manufacture and have manufactured. They've been around for years. Manufacturing a great interior. Dan's hand.
Yeah, he's in one of the cameras.
Okay, Dan's in the camera. Good deal. Bear with me here, guys. Just one more minute here. And we'll have this thing set up and running and rocking and rolling. All right, hang on. We got it. Somewhere in here. In fact, I'm going to bring in one of the newest features that StreamYard has for us while I get this set up. So give me a second. We'll be right back with you. If you guys can hear that in the background or not.
In a tough industry, you need tough floor mats. Minimizer's floor mats are made of a proprietary thermal plastic designed to hold up to the daily abuse of the heavy-duty trucking industry. So whether it's coffee stains or dirt and mud from your boots, Minimizer's tray system keeps everything in place and contains the mess. Just look at how the Minimizer floor mats contain the coffee, with a raised edge all around the mat. That spill isn't going anywhere. To clean the mat, simply take it out of your cab, dump the mess, and spray it off with a hose or power washer. Put them back in, and they're literally as good as new. The same can't be said for carpet or rubber mats. Look at how the same coffee gets everywhere. Neither one does a good job, and you can forget about containing the dirt and mud from your boots. It gets all over the cab floor. So how do we do it? We make floor mats customized to fit your rig. Our engineers use cutting-edge technology to scan the interior measurements and angles of each specific make and model to ensure an exact fit and easy installation. Minimizer floor mats, built for hardworking, tough people in a tough industry.
All right, looking over there, Dan on the screen. Dan, you're live there. Waving everybody at the camera. There you go, buddy. Appreciate that. Minimizer's been making tray-style floor mats for semi-trucks for over 5 years. So these guys have been around doing what they do. They're very good at it. Everything is laser cut and fit to the specific truck that they are manufactured for. You guys be sure and get a hold of Minimizer at minimizer.com. Find out where it is you can get your products today. And of course, they're not limited to anything like floor mats. Just floor mats, they've got in-frame toolboxes, plastic fenders, plastic chrome fenders, outside frame toolboxes, seats, mattresses, a full line of in and out of the truck. And that's kind of what's cool about their particular website, is that when you go to it, you decide, you pick what's in and what's out. I'm going to walk over here to Dan, and we're going to get this show rolling here with me in there as well. I wanted to print something off here for us, and I don't have it. In fact, I want to. Yeah, hell with it. There we go. Rock and roll. All right. We have Mr. Adam Frick here stepping in and being our producer today. So conversations over here so you can give us questions.
Okay.
You can mouse up and down, find your way around. And these are the two you want to be working. Okay. We'll see what happens. And
Welcome.
let's turn on the effects. There they go. Good deal. Am I in there, Adam, in frame?
You are. Let's just check out all the camera angles. There you are. All right, full screen. Big jump, full screen. That's your camera there. Yep.
Make sure we got this thing set up right because I want it to look good for us. There we go.
Now let's see if you're catching Dan here.
All right.
Oh yeah, we got Dan, we got you. We're good.
Okay. Perfect. Let's roll with it, as they say.
Good
You guys have
afternoon.
no idea sometimes what it takes to pull off a production, and this one is no exception. So
You guys have no idea.
yeah, what's going on around us here? There's a little bit going on. So how the hell are you, Dan?
Good, man.
So welcome to Studio 10-4 and the Northern California, the Folsom edition,
Here we are.
where we produce what we do here in the Northern California area. So Dan Linss, been around for a long time, buddy. Magazine, 10-4 magazine, been around a long time. Obviously, we're going to start a series of these, get better at it as we go, and talk about the different various stages of 10-4 and where it's come from,
Right.
where it is,
Yep.
where we're going with it. And in that light, there's I think the best way to do is turn it over to you and let us find out, what happened in 1993 that two guys came together and said, I think we can do a trucking magazine. What do you think? And here it is.
Okay. Well, it's definitely a question we get asked a lot, and it can be a long story. I'll try to keep it concise. Obviously, we printed our first magazine in September 1993, we're just about coming up on 30 years. So
It's real close.
that shocks me as much as y'all. So
You all.
yeah, whoever y'all are. At the time, I was working for a company that invested in small companies, and 10-4 happened to be a small company that originally was founded, or I should say the idea was curated by a truck driver from Southern California. He had this image of a penny saver advertiser, kind of, not really what we are today, newsprint.
Popular model back then, but not so much
Yeah,
now.
classifieds, local advertising for Southern California. He had a pretty good idea, but he didn't have any money or any knowledge of how to do a magazine. So this company came in and ingested people and resources and money and helped him get started. So I worked for this other company, and but I can say that I am the only person that was there at day one. So my first job for 10-4 was to bulk mail the very first edition in September 1993.
Of actually 10-4 Express, right?
Nope.
Nope.
Here's
Oh,
a copy
look at
right here. Look at this beautiful,
Oh,
beautiful. So here's where our illustrious beginnings were. I'm not sure.
Right there.
Right here. So this is newsprint. It is
Holy.
black and white. It was
Peabody set the Wayback
it was
Machine, man. Look at
24 pages. So yeah, that's it. That was the introductory issue. It would get your fingers dirty. I try not to handle it too much.
that. Yeah,
There aren't many of those left.
I've never seen that.
Oh no, okay.
No, I've not. So
I'll let
put
you
the gloves
finger
on
through that.
later.
There you go.
Okay.
So yeah, I literally had to. I mean, we're talking 1993. We bought the PUC list for California,
Oh yeah.
and it was had tens of thousands of anything that had a PUC: buses, limousines, trucks, everything.
Now defunct.
Yes, and I had to go through the list and weed out some of the things that weren't necessary, and literally print labels on a dot matrix printer, tear the ends off. I had to, stick. I think we printed 10,000 copies the very first time.
And were they just hand delivered out to locations, or were they actually mailed out to that? PUC
Those
list?
well, we had some locations early on, but most of those were mailed.
Mailed to PUC. Okay.
And because we were just getting started. So
Okay.
yeah, so I mean, honestly, I think it took 2 weeks to do it. And not that I'm a very good manual labor person, so I'm slow, but I had to stick the labels on every one of them, batch them together with zip codes. I mean, the post office is very specific. You got to rubber band them a certain way. You got to
Right.
tag them a certain way. You got to put them in a bag. It was tedious and ridiculous. Thankfully, that's the only one we did that to, I could say. So that was September 93. I continued working with the parent company, but I was keeping tabs on what they were doing in the room where they were producing the magazine. And the girl that was doing it got pregnant, and she found out she was having twins.
Oh my!
So,
Congratulations.
right.
So
So
where they're at now?
yeah, I don't know. Kristen Day. If you're out there, I think she lived in Riverside back in time.
Wow.
Anyway, that kid would be those kids would be 30 years old
That's
now.
what I'm saying.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
So her doctor decided she needed to be on bed rest, and she was the one producing the magazine. So I volunteered to be taught to put it together. This was actually in January of '94, and at that same time, we hired this crazy, insane, over the top guy named Eric to do sales.
He was Eric back then.
He was a bar buddy to one of the owners of the company, and they met. And I'm telling you, back then, boy, Eric he could sell ice to Eskimos. I mean, this guy was sharp. And so he comes on in January. I started, I think February '94 was the first edition I put together myself. And I mean, honestly, the two of us, we didn't have any trucking experience. We didn't have any knowledge. We were just flying by the seat of our pants. And we take over this little black and white 24-page, no stories. Eventually, there was a cover story that was like 2 sentences on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
So he and I kind of put our heads together and decided we should, add a little color. We should add a few. The cover story became a half page with a black and white picture.
Still working in this print. I mean, this
Newsprint, yes,
Yeah.
still in newsprint. Yeah, we were
there's not.
newsprint.
I mean, there's not a lot you can do with that. It's either black or white, right?
It's true, and it was pretty terrible. So he starts selling the heck out of this thing,
Yeah.
and I'm putting stuff together, coming up with ideas. We're still working at the office of that parent company, and from February to May of that year, '94, we built it up. He or we, however you want to put it, built it up to 64 pages, and it was making money.
Wow.
And so I'm 24 to 64 in just a few months.
That's a big jump.
So it was we were doing something right. And,
Impressing the people up above, saying, "Hey, it's working, huh?"
I don't even remember that. We didn't deal with them too much.
Okay.
But that parent company around June started having some financial issues. A whole nother show if we wanted to go into that. We won't go into that.
Probably, yeah. Let's.
We will not. We will
we're
not.
We're gonna fly up here today, I think, and try to get down there lower later. But yeah.
Bottom line on that, there was some accusations of fraud and laundering and whatnot, and these owners just they had about 10 companies that they had invested in, real small niche companies. 10-4 was one of them, and they were just doing everything they could do to stay out of jail, and they just walked away from all these companies, and they basically just went back to ownership to their owners, and they continued on as a bigger, better company. Still, getting the resources and help, everything was still in place, just the owners were, kind of out of the picture. So Eric and I, of course, it's Eric Seidman, who most knew as Big E later. We used to call him Slim because when I first met him, he was 6'7" and thin.
Yeah.
Everybody got him to know Big E later, but he was.
He hadn't found IPAs yet.
I think he had.
Okay.
Yeah, but we called him Slim on assignment anytime we went anywhere. So, we went, we were talking and we're like, well, what are we going to do? We went to the guy who started it, or I should say, who had the idea. He didn't really start it. He had the original idea.
He had the concept. He needed somebody to actually.
We said, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And he said, I'm going to go back to driving a limousine and coaching girls volleyball. And we said, okay. So that was June. So we went to Eric's condo in Costa Mesa, California, and had a little 10x10
Whoa. All right, guys. Do we have our audio back? Anybody give us a thumbs up on that? Audio's out. Audio's out. Audio's in. How about now, guys? We back? Barbara's good now. Okay, we're back. All right. So our producer Adam, if it happens to do that again, and I'm not sure what's going on, why these are all new circumstances, guys, using a new system. So we're kind of learning it as we go. All you need to do is go here where it says mute.
Yep.
And click on that.
Oh, it was muted.
That's what it said.
Okay.
So, yeah. All right. You guys probably all remember Adam. Adam has been at some of the shows with us in the past, running cameras and helping us with our productions. So I'll keep the phone nearby me, and that way, if it happens again, I can let y'all know. All right.
Oh, we're all learning. We're learning as we go.
Yeah, it's so just a quick side note. So the equipment that we use to normally bring you a truck show, it's a particular brand. I won't go into what it is. For some reason, they've gone crickets and silent. So there's a lot of switching going on to other equipment. We're in that mode. So don't know if we're abandoning the other yet, but we're putting the other into production. And this is the first one in this series that we've used it. So, it's learning curve. Bear with us. We'll definitely get through it. So thanks, guys.
No crickets. No
Yep.
crickets.
So let us know if anything audio or otherwise is not working properly. I've got my phone right here, and those of you that know me will text me, and otherwise let Adam know back there on the desk, and he can let us know. All right. So where were we, Dan?
That's a good question. Where were we? We were doing July '94.
Yes, we were.
Oh, we went out and we blew the whole check, a whopping $200. But anyway, it just got better from there. So
Go back to the condo, she says.
They lost you at East Condo.
Condo. Oh,
Yep.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
okay.
All right, we're back.
So we set up an office in a 10 by 10 room in Eric and his wife at the time, Jean's condo in Costa Mesa, and I mean it was tight. We were sitting back to back, and Eric was always in his socks, and I can't tell you how many times I rolled over his foot with my chair. He was not happy about that.
I can imagine.
So we spliced a crude edition together, July 1994, and we sent out a billing and we printed it and we put it out. And
Just out of curiosity, in 1994, how did that look? I mean, you're literally reusing light tables and.
oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we were using Aldus PageMaker, which doesn't exist anymore. I don't remember the version. It might have been 2. I mean, it was pretty it was pretty archaic, but I still have some of the hot sheets from Aldus. I still use them; they still work.
Wow.
Like for characters and stuff. But anyway, so we put it together, and we were using light tables. We were using there was no digital.
Yeah. That's
Everything was a printed sheet from a printer that went to our printer and that got shot and made into a negative. And if you had colors, you had two different, completely different prints that laid on top of each other. It was pretty it was pretty terrible. Again, it was pretty terrible.
a different era.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot more difficult.
Yeah.
So we put together that July edition, and we sent it out and sent a billing out, and we got I remember the day we got our first check in, and it was for $200, and Eric and I went out to the local pool hall and got lunch and drinks and played pool and spent the whole thing and had a good time. And
started talking about the August edition. Hopefully.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure it was in there.
Celebration.
I'm sure it was in there
Yeah,
somewhere,
yeah.
but we didn't have, there was pretty low stress back then.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it just went from there. I mean,
excuse me.
in 2000, in July of 2000, we figured that the heat was off, that nobody was going to come after us legally for the name. So in July of 2000, we switched back to 10-4 magazine from 10-4 Express, and we've been 10-4 magazine since then. And I mean, we've just grown and obviously expanded. And at some point, I don't remember exactly when, we went to full color and went to a better printer that did a good job, and we still are at them today, and they're still doing a pretty good job. And 350 editions later, here we are. So
And almost 30 years.
yeah, we're in our 29th, I suppose, right? Yeah,
Getting close to it.
yeah. So
Along the way, obviously, with you and Eric, you had a lot of changes, and not only in the magazine, and this is something we didn't really touch on too, but I think it does come in play in part by stating the fact, look, you had a family going on.
Yep.
You were a young newlywed.
Yep.
Working on building a family. And so along the way, there's been some kids.
I've had 3 kids under the umbrella of 10-4 that are now married and living in different states and college graduates, or
all in towed at different shows and different events along
absolutely.
the way.
They came with us all the time. They handed out posters and magazines and mingled around with people and helped, and it was fun to definitely have them. And I did all the production at home, so I was home for all of them. And I do remember clearly thinking, because this is working at home was not a cool or a normal thing back then. I mean, Mr. Mom, the movie Mr. Mom came out with Michael Keaton, and he was my hero because I was going to be that. But it was just such a weird concept. Even they made movies about it. Now it's normal, but
now it is the norm.
And I thought, if I get 1 year at home with my first new baby, that's a year at home that most dads don't get. And so I thought that's pretty cool. So I'll just ride it for as long as it can go. And I did it. I'm still doing it.
Again, here you are, right? So
right.
There's a whole backstory to what it's like around 10-4 at Dan's house during the deadline era or time of the month. So, and that is probably a whole another show, but it definitely is a reality. And I imagine that your kids could probably tell stories about it as well. So, We get through it. We give Dan all the latitude he needs to get the magazine out every month, and it works. And it's been going that way for 30 years. So,
yes.
That time that things started, you guys got your first, editions out. You and Eric are rolling together. Some changes are happening along the way. We've got kids. We've got people that you're meeting along the way. When was the first truck show? When did that happen? Do you remember?
Pretty early on. Yeah. It was probably Trucking for Kids in 94.
Okay.
And we pretty much, I think we went to Vegas in 94 as well. It was, the International Trucking Show. It was in Anaheim, I believe. And it moved. And we did go there. I think Eric went there in 93 by himself when we were still with the other company. And I don't remember doing a report from there or anything. But the next year they moved to Vegas, and we went there their very first year and had a lot of fun. And customers donated prizes, and we had a whole table of prizes, and we had a blackjack table set up and a dealer, and we had chocolate chips, and people would come and we would give them, I don't know, it was like $1,000 in chocolate chips to start. And if they built it up to a certain level, they could go buy prizes off the table. So there's 1,000, there's 2,000, 3,000, whatever. And so that was a lot of fun. And I mean, it was pretty renegade back then. You know, we were living by the seat of our pants and having fun. And
I think you guys were making it up as you go too. You had to. I mean, there was no model for this. I mean, you're two guys that didn't have anything to do with trucking, really. I mean, background wise,
right.
And you're doing a trucking publication, and this, in my perspective of 10-4 magazine, even to this day, is that it is the hot rod magazine of big trucks. And that's a magazine that, when you put that into your category of who do you think you look like,
right?
That's a compliment to them and to 10-4 magazine, I believe. So
I sure hope so.
Yeah, I believe so. And during your growing time, it was about relationships, and it still is. So that's obviously still the biggest piece of what 10-4 does. It's about relationships. I mean,
definitely.
Your memory of who, what, where, when absolutely just floors me sometimes. How you pick that stuff out, and you'll know.
My wife would disagree. I don't remember a lot.
All right.
Well, I remember a lot of stuff for this. I don't remember a lot of other stuff.
So there's something there. There's like some, Gino in there that works for guys. Certain things we pick up, and other things it's like, what? Yeah. It happened 5 minutes ago. We can't remember.
Yep,
but
that's true.
10 years ago, and the highway, whatever, in town, wherever, and a truck show, wherever, and we remember it.
Well, I will say, early on, I mean, we didn't have anything on the cover. And then we started submitting, people started submitting pictures. And so the first maybe year, was just submitted pictures. Maybe it wasn't, maybe it was a year. And again, just black and white on the cover. And at some point, probably 94, we decided we should, start going out and seeking our own stuff and get, ramp it up, get it a little bit better. Eric was self-taught in photography, and he had gear. So we started doing photo shoots and going out, and over the years, and then so we would take, I don't know, 200-300 that came in 03, I think, or 2. And we'd weed out the ones that we didn't like, and eventually hone it down to one.
Are we back? We're back. It's back. Okay. So obviously there's something going on out of our control on this, and I think it is involved in the connection between the equipment we're using and the app that we use to stream, which we use every day when we do our Studio 10-4 show. So two aren't talking very nice to each other for whatever reason, but we'll get it figured out. So
they talking good now?
Yeah, we're good.
We're good. So so we started to, we'd go through and, whittle it down to our cover picture. And I was always criticizing or critiquing his photography. He'd cut off a bumper, he'd do it too tight, or why did you do it crooked, and that's just my nature. And eventually one day we were out at a shoot. I don't even remember where we were or what we were doing. And I was like, now remember, not so tight, back it up, blah, blah, blah. And he just handed me the camera. He said, you do it. So I did. So at that point,
Kind of handed you the keys at that point.
and you know, so he shot all Nikon gear. I got a whole Canon gear, and we did that specifically also so that, you know, Nikon and Canon shoot differently. They have different good and bad points. So we figured if we're shooting both, whatever one's working the best that day, those are the best pictures. So yeah, we both started shooting. Eventually, over time, he shot less and less and less, and he focused more on entertaining the person we were shooting, because, you know, photo shoots are long, grueling. They could be 2 days sometimes, and you know, people think they're fun, but they are fun, and we do our best to make them as fun as possible, but they're a lot of work, and you got to be patient. And so Eric's job eventually became entertainer. So I would, and you know, toward the last few years, I was doing most of the photography for that, and he was just playing music and talking and laughing and entertaining, and which was what he was the best at.
Food and drink. Eric was a great ambassador.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, he was born to be your friend and hang out and entertain, and he was great at it.
He was. And on that note, you know, for those that don't know him, obviously, we worked side by side for 25 plus years,
right?
And he was people would say, how do you work with him? He's crazy, he's nuts. And I'd say, I don't know. Somehow we had this symbiotic work relationship that we were always on the same page. I mean, we were completely different, but he was the ideas guy, and I was the guy that made those ideas work. And I don't know, it just was a really good relationship. I didn't even realize how good it was until later. And so he, short story on that is he got sick in 2018.
Yep.
And for about 8 months, they were trying to figure out what was wrong with him, and they weren't figuring it out. He was just having all these problems. And then finally, we convinced him to go to another doctor and actually get a second opinion. And he was quickly diagnosed with stage 4 bladder cancer. And oddly enough, the day we got that call from him that he had gotten that was just before Trucking for Kids in 2018. And it was on 10-4 day of all days, which is our, unofficial holiday, 10-4, October 4th.
Right.
And we had just driven down. I had just driven down with my smoker, getting ready for the barbecue at Trucking for Kids, and walked into the office there in Huntington Beach. And he had called. And so it was kind of weird that it happened on that day. And he fought the good fight for 8, 9, 10 months and ended up passing in August 9th, 2019. And so, like I said, I didn't realize, as much as he drove me nuts, and we had a great, awful, however you want to describe it, relationship. It worked. However it was worked. And so yeah, we had a good challenging year there after he passed, trying to fill that void and trying to I still had to do my job. I had to do his job. So, I mean, I think that it took about a year for us to get our feet down and figure things out. And
put a team together.
Absolutely. Since then, we've brought in, a lot of new people. I mean, quite honestly, 10-4 was ran with a very small group of people,
right,
for a long time. And now we've brought in a lot of people to help, you being one of them. What were you, 2017?
2017, yes.
So,
yeah, Mid-America. I think I made my debut at Mid-America pretty much.
So obviously, John, you've discussed it in past shows. We had a relationship with you since, was it December 2003?
Well, 03 was when I made the cover of the magazine, right. But it was the year prior that we all had actually met, I believe, at Crazy Bob, in Stockton, California, at Cherokee Bob's truck show. Yep. And I had a brand new, truck transfer unit that I had built, and basically had just the basic unit at that point, but right. It was done right. And Eric saw it, you saw it.
Yep.
It was next year, we had a little more done, not a lot more, but a little more done. And that was when we kind of made a connection, and you guys called. I'll never forget where I was when I got the phone call.
Yeah.
Hey, we got news for you, and it was Eric. I think he had a speaker on speakerphone.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to put you on the December cover, and I was with my then son-in-law, Tony, and I was down in Oakland going to the airport. We were making some, I don't know what we were doing, but we were driving together down there on 880. And I mean,
remember
how, How
That's
weird
cool.
is that you remember that?
Yeah.
But that's one of those. You remember
Yeah.
where you're at 9/11 happened, right?
Yeah.
And you remember when you got the phone call from Eric and Dan to be on the cover of the magazine.
Well, okay.
Maybe a few other things are in there too as well.
That
but
might be privy to truck drivers more than regular people,
it
but
might be. Make sure we're okay. We're good.
definitely. So yeah, no, that was so yeah, we've added, I mean, since then we've, added a few more people. Oddly enough, we added another Eric.
Right.
And oddly enough, he's not 6'7", but about 6'5", 6'6", out of Illinois. And oddly enough, his nickname was Big E.
Yep.
Which we said, well, that's an awesome nickname. You might not want to use it around here with us.
Confusing.
It's confusing and it will upset people. So he is not Big E in our circle, although he is a Big E, and we hired him in to help us run shows and booths and do sales. And that's been great. Eric's been very helpful, and he's been a very good addition to our team. Great guy.
Stephanie.
We've added contributors. Stephanie, I think in 2016.
Yeah, I think she came in right before I did.
And she has grown into an amazing helper and a great contributor, writer, photographer, show goer, supporter. And now actually just in the last couple months is helping me with some production so that I can get myself freed up to do some other more important business things. And along with my son who lives in Washington.
Right. Part of the team now too.
Parker is part of the team, and he's doing some help with production as well. So I'm still going to oversee it. Eventually that will be my role, overseeing it. But I've been putting that magazine together literally page by page, every page by myself for 28 years. And it's pretty daunting. And so it's nice to have some help. It's nice to know that if something was to happen to me, there's people in place that could rise up and fill that gap if necessary. So that gives me a little bit of peace of mind. We're still going through that transition now, but it's exciting.
Yeah. Well, I think that, here's something that I'm a super supporter and proponent of Dan Linss. I like Dan. I love Eric too. Guys, don't get me, wrong here. You guys were that weird team that like
the odd couple.
Yeah. How does and listen, in Dan's defense, he did a lot of head shaking too to get through it all, because people would ask him like, "What's the?" and you get a lot of that, but it worked. And at the same time, there's a lot of folks that didn't know there was a Dan Linss back there in this shadow somewhere, because Eric, was a bigger than life guy, and he was kind of the front, man in the magazine, and now, and some people, they'd walk up to Eric like, well, who are you? And Eric would go, well, I'm the owner, and that's about as far as it would go. And Dan's working over here shooting the truck. In fact, going back to my photo shoot, Eric was the fun guy. And you and I, you were doing the shots. I was staging them because the driver's got to move the truck and make all that happen. But at that time, I think that's where that connection happens. You probably ask every driver for every photo shoot you've ever done, and they're going to know you, and they're going to know who you are, what you do, and how it goes. But outside of that smaller circle, you get into these bigger circles, and people are like, "Yeah, where's Eric? Where's Big E?" Well, unfortunately, we lost him, but some great support came in. Plus, it was already built in with you being there, and all along through this thing for some 30 years you've been doing it along with Shannon and Gene.
Yes.
Don't forget, and of course Eric when he was there, and your kids came along and they were part of this deal, and
they were.
And certain shows you have, like, we'll call them roadies. They're 10-4 groupies, whatever you want to call yourself.
They help out.
We love you, and you help out. But my first time at Nats in 2017, there's all these people kind of waiting at the booth, like, where are all these guys, and like, well, that's so and so, and this, and she does this, and he does that, and all these people, and that's kind of how it is.
Right.
You roll into a show, and certain people just show up. And like, hey, what can we do?
They do.
And it's just amazing. So there's a very symbiotic relationship that's occurred over the years with a lot of folks that love 10-4 magazine, and the folks that are parts of it, and the relationships that you guys and you have made over the years to make it work. So,
well, on that note, just talking about people and stuff too. So our latest acquisition
Oh,
is so one of Eric's dying wishes was that his nephew Tim be a part of the business, and of course we're going to honor that. And so recently he became a part owner with us. His name is Tim Sieben, and he is actually going to be. We also acquired the Trucker for Kids show, as most would know.
There's the other big news, but really the big news. I mean, Tim, we love you too, buddy. But the big news,
yes,
Trucking for Kids,
and he is our Trucking for Kids show manager.
Yep.
So he's been going to truck shows, doing some show reports, learning different things, and
shadowing Frank and Diane when they did their last show last year.
He's new to all the system, but he's learning fast and he hustles, and I think he's going to be a great asset. He's going to be great for Trucking for Kids and for 10-4 magazine. So and on a note, I will say one special thing on that. He just recently acquired a company phone, and it happens to have Eric. It happens to be Eric Sieben's old phone number, because we only have so many 10-4 numbers.
If I could show you my screen right now, you can see that Eric Sieben texted me today about 10 times.
Yeah,
right there, guys. So he's
so
yeah, that's what's
so
going
be aware if you do get a text or a call, and if you have Eric Sieben programmed into your phone, anyone out there listening, you may, I mean, if that's your thing, if you want to get that call and see that face, you can do that, but it's not going to be Eric calling from the grave. It will be Tim. So you might want to change that contact in there. Just a little FYI. It's freaked a few people out. So
I can think of so many why that's not going to happen lines, but it did. It was a little bit like we knew, but we had a group text going this last weekend, I think it was, and I was like, so Eric's back? No, not quite, but he'll never be forgotten. That there's no two ways about that. Eric Sieben, the Big E, will never be forgotten. So, and request for some info and talk of.
We lost it for a second.
Oh, okay.
I got it back.
Hold that note. Got it back. Okay.
I think so.
You guys let us know when it's back. I don't know if we're going to be talking to ATEM or StreamYard about this after this show, but one of them.
We'll have to practice a little bit more.
I don't know. What can you do different, right? So if we're back.
We're back. I'm
Okay.
watching it, so as soon as it gives me that notification, I'm on it.
All right, that works.
I didn't even check. Am I on my good side? I mean, I didn't.
No, you're pretty from all sides.
Oh, Adam.
Anywho, now where was I at on that?
Eric and Colin.
Okay. Anyway, so Hall of Fame. So the Wall of Fame. This is a story. So you submitted a story. They asked for that, and it's obviously talking about Eric.
Right.
I submitted and suggested that we do the both of you, because understandably, there's individuals, but you guys were a team for all this time, really. I mean, you really, really were a team, and 10-4 was built on teamwork. It really was, and I think that spirit is probably more evident now than ever, just from going through what we went through with you in 18 and 19, to get through that transitional time. And now with everybody we're working with to make things flow the way that they are and the way that they're going to, obviously, in the future. So look for that at Matt's. We'll find out. There's been some stuff that's been thrown out on Facebook and other channels that are saying, hey, this is so. Brian Martin was one of the first ones that I noticed, and rightly so.
That's a good nominee.
Yeah, great guy to have. I mean, on the Wall of Fame for that. Bud Farquhar. I mean, how do you not recognize Bud? Just right. And the list goes on. There's many more that I personally don't know, but the ones I personally do know, those are the guys I'm rooting for. So,
well, I appreciate you nominating us both. I'll be proud if either of them, whether it's us or him. It'll be great to see. I think that honestly, we've kind of we've always considered, we always joke that we're the cream of the crap, and we're kind of cool with that. I mean, we've never really been completely accepted in the industry. Maybe we are now. But for 20 years, I mean, we just I just used the moniker, just keep showing up.
Yeah.
Just keep showing up. And we
Right.
just kept showing up, and publications came and gone, companies came and left, and
Yep.
show trucker guys came up and went away and came up, and other ones went away, and we just kept coming back. And
Yep.
I think that we eventually earned that respect, or I hope we did. If not, I hope we're close.
I'd love to have that question and answer with another, other peers in the industry and say, hey, where are you guys with 10? Where you been with 10-4? And I could go back and name some. I'm not going to right now. That would say best guys we ever met most of the time, given who you're talking about. But just the fact that I think there's respect, absolutely respect. And 10-4, again, it's a different niche. It's not, it's not a nuts and bolts deal.
Really?
Although there is that if you want it.
Right.
If you want tips on how to, put a shifter together or how to change, any number of service items or additions, cool add-ons to your truck, you
Right.
can go in and find those
Yep.
hints and tips and demonstrations in the
Right.
magazine
Right.
and get the information. Just like Hot Rod Magazine, same kind of deal. Hot Rod was always about building cool rides,
Right.
and 10-4 is certainly that. Touching on the truckers over the years, the guys that have come and gone, we've lost some that we've lost obviously, they've left us, period.
Right.
Other guys have just gone on. They're out of the show thing. They're not doing that.
Well, show trucking is exhausting,
Oh,
and it's expensive.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, usually your typical guy that comes on the scene, lasts 3, 4, 5 years, depending on if he builds one truck or if he builds multiple trucks over the years. But, eventually, aside from maybe, a handful of them, 3, 4 years, and they're off going back doing whatever they're doing, and somebody new is coming up, and seen it happen just time and time again. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, some people can't do that forever, or like I said, it either gets too expensive or they get tired. And,
I think it's part of it. It's cyclical. It really is. I mean,
yeah.
there's a pretty solid group of guys right now that I think are really focused and fixed on it. And there's people I think that are getting close to them that are the next wave that's coming in. That's kind of what I'm seeing.
I do think that there's, we kind of had a little bit of a calming period, and those things are so
Cyclical.
cyclical.
Yep.
They're cyclical as well. I mean,
Yep.
just like styles
Like
of
this.
trucks. I mean,
Everything.
when we started this thing, I mean, Gotti was the
baby.
day. The more murals and the more, people were just making bolt-on stuff, but it was new, so people were bolting it on. And I mean, and then things went, all of a sudden, long, low, clean,
Yep.
even sterile, as we'd call it on the West Coast. That's coming now. Then old school stripes kind of made a pretty big comeback. They're still kind of making a comeback, but they're not so old school anymore. Now they're, guys like Higgs and different people are shaking it up and making really interesting twists on classic stripes. And so we're kind of entering into a new, I mean, we'll see where it goes, but there's just like this fresh crop of builders, and people have, all these new style of trucks, whether they be W990s or Aero trucks.
Aero trucks are making big statements.
Guys are making them cool, and it's amazing when you drop something 6 or 7 inches how much better it looks. So guys, get on it.
Ask us where it started from, right here on the West Coast, right?
Right.
I mean, listen, guys got to give credit where credit's due. The West Coast look, it's sort of like the West Coast offense in the NFL, man. Everybody wanted to do it because it worked, Well, the West Coast look, I think, is what really kind of projected itself out.
Everyone except maybe the East Coast, they got their own vibe, and they don't really care what we do.
Yeah, right.
They really do.
Wow.
And that's still true today.
Yeah.
They still, even when their custom is different, and it's cool. It's just different.
So I know we had a big list of stuff that we could talk about, and right now we're getting close to our time coming up. But let's go over a little bit because we came in kind of late. Let's back it up a little bit just on the magazine for a moment, if we can.
Mm-hmm.
We had print, black and white. That's what we had. When did we finally get into a higher quality of production and publication? When was that?
Well, without going into part numbers, what do you call it?
What do you call it? Oh yeah, right. TK421. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Honestly, in the printing
And the
world,
flux capacitor.
in the
Yeah,
printing
yeah.
world, everything changed with with PDFs. I mean, you could now, instead of giving a printed page to the printer to make a negative, you could give them a high res PDF,
Yep.
and it was very easy, and it was everything came across right, and then they started going right to the machines, and they weren't using cameras and making negatives anymore.
So you were real close to that time. I mean,
Yeah.
from 94 to what was it, like
That's
98,
that
2000?
stuff happened, yeah, around
Somewhere in there?
2000. That stuff
Mhm.
really started coming together, and it made things a lot easier, a lot higher quality.
Mhm.
I think we went full color. I don't know, maybe I don't know.
02, mine's-
Yours were black and white, right? Yeah, your story is black and white. I'm
I
almost
believe
positive.
so. Yeah, you can go on the website and see the color photos.
Yeah.
But it was the old newsprint on still on the
The centerfold came about. We had shot Shot SCHOTT. Shot had a turquoise hay truck, an old a narrow nose Kenworth with magenta stripes.
See, what am I telling?
Very cool truck. And we drove to Bakersfield to shoot it.
Yep.
And we shot all these pictures. Drove all the way to Bakersfield from LA, and I mean, not that that's that far, but we're not truckers. That's a long ways for us. Not so much anymore, but
Not anymore. But
we were on our way back, and we were taking a scenic route through the foothills down Highway 65, and we were just talking out loud about, wow, what a shame, all these pictures we took, and all we're going to get out of it is, one cover picture.
Right.
It'd be kind of cool if we could, do like a centerfold, and that's where that came from. And oddly enough, around that same time, we saw 2 golden eagles on the side of the road. We stopped and took pictures of them. And I still have those pictures probably in that photo shoot folder somewhere.
That's something out of the vault, the editor's choice. I think you bring that back, huh?
The eagles?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It was pretty cool. But I mean, again, I remember that day plain as day, having that discussion, and it wasn't a real big, it was like, yeah, let's do it. And that was, I think, 04. And so that, that was the beginning of that. And honestly, that really changed things. That really, really kicked us up some notches. People really got excited about that.
Well,
and
you can pull that centerfold could come out now and be framed, or just even put up. And I'm from my own personal experience of that. And
you have one right there on your wall.
I do. Of guys telling me when they meet me that they had my picture up in their garage. I'm like, what?
Well, not yours.
Yeah, my
that'd
truck.
be weird.
It was kind of like, okay, all right.
Right.
Well, if that did anything good for you, then it worked, man, because that's really what it was all about. But anyways, yeah, I just had that always stuck with me, and I've had guys come up to me like that. I just thought, man, that's pretty cool. But I never autographed anything, and I know there's guys that have done that.
Oh yeah.
I know that.
We've had people pulled over by CHP or DOT or whoever, and they're like, oh no, I'm getting a ticket. The guy walked up with a poster, and he's like, can you sign this? He's like, what? Not a ticket? Nope, this. So that's pretty cool.
Hey, nice rides, man. I'll tell you what. Not that I'd never, got away. Look, I got pulled over. I've gotten tickets. I've gotten pulled over and not got tickets. But I've also just had guys on the radio, shout out to me, and they're the DOT guys. The guys up in Northern California and Oregon were notorious for reaching out, because I traveled at night. Right. All the time up north, and they hit me up on that.
They still are. There's that guy in around Shasta that everybody loves.
Yep.
I forget his name.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. That guy
I'm sure that we'll get it in the comments. Everybody knows that guy.
Yeah, he was good. All right, so we're gonna fast forward because in interest of time. Here we are right now. It's February 9th, 2022. God, who'd have thunk it, right? Here we are. It would be remiss of me not to say
Audio. Okay,
audio back. Okay. All right.
Pause.
Eric Stevens says you're on or down. Tell me, Eric, what am I doing? You're down. Okay, we're back again.
We're back in.
Yeah, we have no idea why it's doing this, guys. None. So apparently, there's probably a conflict between equipment and app. I'm assuming it's got to be something in there like that that's making it happen. We'll find out later.
TK 401 too.
Yeah, that's right. TK 401. That's right. So I would be remiss to say we need to talk about Canada. So I'm not going to have this show and have this time that we have without saying that we support them. We support our brothers and sister truckers.
Yep.
We support what they are doing in a peaceful and honestly spirited way that is being supported by many people of faith and for their rights to be able to choose their life and what they do with it. That being said, the other side has their view. Okay, we heard yours. Time to hear ours. Mr. Trudeau, it's time to talk to your people. Whether you think the smallest or the largest, whatever the case may be, it's your time now to talk to your people. They want you to talk to them. Young man, and you are a young man, come down off of your platform and talk to your people.
And from we have people there, boots on the ground, literally right there outside their Parliament building. You had him on the show last week, Ryan, I believe was his name.
Yes,
and he's been reporting back to us
Yes.
as you as well. And there's been some reports. We probably need to work a little harder to confirm everything, but he is saying that the media up there is absolutely, they're not fudging the truth. They're just lying.
Yes.
And that they are peaceful, that
Yes.
they are not, they're not doing anything more than they have to do. They are appeasing the residents. They're helping them. They're keeping their sidewalks clear. They're helping them with their trash. They're keeping roads clear so emergency vehicles can get in.
Designated by plan, there are roads that are open for emergency vehicles or anybody else that needs to pass through or in or out of the downtown Ottawa area,
Right.
as well as the other areas that are blocked. The northbound in through the Michigan border is the one that's blocked. The southbound is not, apparently, I guess, or east or west, whatever the case may be. By design, this is being done. The trucks are off to the side. There's a passageway for them to go in. What's being shown is not what's really happening, as Dan says. And this morning on the news, I'm watching the kids, families playing out in the street, barbecues, live music, dancing, peaceful. The only violent thing I saw, a 68 or 78-year-old man being arrested for honking his horn and showing solidarity with the truckers who were honking their horns.
He was in his own pickup truck.
And this guy was in his own pickup truck. And he wasn't just being arrested like, "Excuse me, sir," and gently, kindly putting cuffs on him. These guys pretty much did a beat down on this 78-year-old grandpa.
Wow.
Way to make an example out of somebody, folks. Get real, please. Gosh, get real. Mr. Trudeau, it's your turn, buddy.
Well, certainly politics and controversy has not been our foundation. This is something that's become kind of near and dear to us that we kind of have gotten some opportunities to discuss and get some inside information.
Yep.
We're not changing our game plan of how we do things, our mode of operation, but it's happening, and we're capturing it, and I think that it's big, it's
huge.
So we're definitely going to stay on top of it. We're not OIDA. We're not going to sue anybody or get on top of anything.
We don't have lobbyists. We don't have any of that. We're still where the cool kids hang out.
We do not.
This is just happening in front of us, and we're doing the best we can to not go crazy off into it, but at the same time still acknowledge, it's happening and it's real.
Well, stay tuned. If we get more updates, we'll have further guests on later shows, and hopefully we'll have some good news to share.
Billy Joe Burrow said, "Don't worry, they apologized while they did it."
The beat down?
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, old man, but we're going to beat you down.
Billy Joe, our regular on the show. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm sure they did. No, they didn't, but yeah. So let's keep going forward again, too, because we got so much stuff that's coming up this year. I want to at least get out in this first edition of the show.
Okay.
Obviously, we have Matt's coming up.
Yep.
50th anniversary, postponed 2 years. Hallelujah. It's finally happening. Team 10-4 will all be there on assignment.
Yep.
We will be doing live streams from the show for you. So you guys will be able to tune in on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yep.
and capture everything that we're capturing out there for you. You'll be able to check it out. The booth is in the same spot it's always in.
Yep. North wing up
North
in the
wing.
corner by the back door, up against the wall.
Right.
Great spot. We love it.
Yep. Anybody out there that's going to be at the show, come by. Free magazines. We'll have plenty of swag. Hopefully hats, shirts.
Yep.
Anything else that's going to be in play? Maybe, or do we have hats and shirts? Pretty much going to be it. And the free magazines for us.
We may have a few. We may have a few bonus items. We're in the process of.
Oh, speaking of bonuses,
Yes.
You're doing something that's never been done before. You're making something available to people that has never been available. So I'm going to let you capture
We are.
that. What
So
are you doing?
You mentioned it in your last show. We are working to organize our inventory for our back archives. Obviously, we have 350 back issues.
And the cave's huge, guys. You can't believe the space in this place. Not really, but
It's packed.
it's packed.
It's organized and it's packed.
And it's
but
sturdy and it's packed.
we decided that we should make these archives available. So it's a lot of legwork to get it going. We want to inventory what we have, which means we have to open 350 boxes and inventory how many copies we have that we can let go. We're not going to obviously get rid of them all, but it's time to thin the herd. And if so, we're still working out all the details, and there's a little bit of legwork there. But soon we will have it to where you can pick what issue you want, and you'll know if we have it in inventory or not. And yeah, you'll be able to buy single copies and have it shipped to you.
Yep.
And so we're figuring all the details.
You guys have that available at Max?
No.
Well, in theory, it's available right now. It's just not happening yet. So
Yeah.
Reiterate what I say. So
Yeah. That will be no, not really, not at Matt's. I mean, there's no way we could take those. I mean,
no.
But we will have them probably available on our website or if you call.
Yeah.
But again, we're working out all those details. We haven't quite honed everything in because it's a monument. It's going to be a monumental task to figure out what we have and what we can get, what we can let go. And
This project's in its infancy right now, so it's
it is.
there.
I hope to have it. We hope to have it going in next month or two.
Okay. All right.
But so start thinking about the ones you guys want.
If you're out there and you want
These are super limited. I mean, there may be 5 editions of some.
Okay.
There might be 25 of others. But if there's a couple special ones that you need to fill your, and we don't have every. There are some we have none. We have 1 or 2, but we're not giving them up.
It's best to say at this point, if you think you have interest in something from the past,
Yep.
submit that request, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
Start getting ready for it.
we'll see where it goes
But
from
that's something we've never done. We're pretty excited about that, and I think people will be really excited to fill the voids in their collections.
Yep. There you go.
So
And that wants me to, it cues me to say subscriptions are always available, guys. Best way to get 10-4 magazine.
absolutely.
Subscribe. And just to put the absolute, info on the answer, we don't charge for the magazine. We have to charge for the shipping. So you
Right.
guys are going to pay $50 for a 12 months for a 1 year subscription, 1 magazine a month, shipped to you in a clear plastic sleeve,
Yep.
and it's protected. You'll get it to you in the same shape it was the day it came off the press at the printer. So it's in perfect condition, and we're ready for you to read, collect, whatever you want to do with it. So
We still have physical distribution, but it's getting
Yeah.
more and more costly and more difficult.
Yeah.
So we really would like to move to more of the just direct mailing
I
subscription.
mean, in all honesty, 10-4 is one of the few that's still in print. So again, not naming names, but
True, and we're not going anywhere. I don't care what they say about
No.
print being dead. We'll be the last one to go.
we still want you guys to be able to
Absolutely.
open your
We know how you want to pick it up. You want to put it in the door of your truck. You want to read it a year later, whatever, stack them up in the bathroom, whatever you want to do with them. We understand, and we're right there with you.
Yeah.
We're not going to stop that.
You guys have no idea how far we are from where it started to where we're at, to the digital migration of what's happened and where we're at. We're, there you go, right there. To what's right behind Dan. If Adam's got the screenshot going there, can they see the monitor from?
Yeah. Well, a little bit.
But
I can pull it up.
and that, I mean,
Yeah.
gosh, we could
Yeah, there
keep
it is.
going and going on this, but we have something else coming soon too.
Right. Well, we've been working on a new website for a while, and It's taken a little bit longer than we had hoped. We were hoping to have that up in the next few months.
Yep.
Something fresh and have a lot more options on it. And also, you know, we're going to be including our new, along with Trucking for Kids is our new division, might you call it. It's going to be our new 501(c) called 10-4 Charities, Inc. And that is what Trucking for Kids will fall under. And we have other things that we donate to, that we participate in.
Mhm.
So our new website will have a tab for 10-4 Charities. In that, you'll
And
find
Trucking for Kids.
it will
there.
Trucking for Kids will be a subcategory
Okay.
in it.
Good.
So
Good.
yeah, so we're really excited about that. We're just finalizing a lot of the paperwork in that, but really kind of excited. You know, we've always wanted to give back, and we do, but now it's a little more official.
Now it's you are the funnel now. The 10-4 and Trucker for Kids is now a one,
Right.
and you've become the funnel. Yeah, because you've for years all along been putting out some great give backs at Trucker for Kids.
Right. And a lot of places, you know.
Yeah.
So
not the only one, but definitely.
but we're
now-
excited about it. So yeah.
Now it's official. So
Yes.
2022 Matt's. There's many other shows, and if you guys can see up there on the events tab of the website right there, all you have to do, if you could, if it was a touchscreen, you'd be able to drop down, and all of the shows we have information on. to
Is it
this
a touch
point.
screen, Adam?
Yeah.
Uh,
The information's available there, and as soon as we have updates on anything or additions, if you have shows and they're not on there, submit them.
yes. Our initial calendar is up now. We've already, since it's went up, got lots of more requests. So we'll be adding probably 10 more shows here in the next few weeks.
Okay.
So
Look for team 10-4. I know that the bigger shows that you and I and most of the team are going to be at,
right.
I can say is going to be Matt's, obviously.
Yep.
Frenchie's, which is coming up
Yep.
in Red Bluff.
Yep.
So the West Coast Swing is going to be a big deal this year.
Definitely.
Merced, which is going to be CG Sosa and
June. Yep.
his show,
Mhm.
second annual, and Trucking for Kids, September 11th.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
That'll be another big West Coast show.
That'll be.
So we hope.
And there'll be lots of other ones too. Those are the core of the shows that our team, all the team will be at. And there'll be some other ones too, I'm sure.
So different ones along the way. So many, too many to even name and go through right now.
Yes.
We don't need to. So, but another time. We've got, gosh, there's so much more. We have a whole bunch of pictures and different things that we wanted to share, and we'll have to bring that out in series 1, volume 2.
There you go. Well, this was kind of a setup. Get the business out of the way.
Yeah.
There's lots of fun stories.
Yeah.
I mean, any photo shoot, you can just point to it, and I can probably give you a good story about it.
Absolutely.
If it's worth it.
If it wait a minute, it's a family, you mean it's a family channel here? Yeah, it's a family channel. So some
If
we
it's
can, some we
shareable,
can't. Yeah,
if
with
it's
some we can, some we can't.
shareable.
Our first go around here in this studio assembly. First go around with some new equipment, and some of it went well, some of it not so well. So
Aside from the technical glitches, let us know what you think. If this is a format that you guys would enjoy, once or twice a month, and we'd like to do it. And so,
yep, I agree. And we will get it dialed so that we can be a little more interactive with you guys too, where we can bring more pictures, more video in play while we're talking. So we can do those call outs and like, what about this one?
right.
Or what about this one? Or, and I'd love to, because Dan just sent this folder to me of all the shots from mine cover story. I'd love to bring that out somewhere along the way too.
Definitely.
And, go through that. There's
And I will say we just did our photo shoot this weekend for
Ooh,
our March cover, and
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you, it's going to be a good one.
can't.
Super excited about it.
Yeah.
Super excited about it.
Yeah, it is. I only been privy to see one photo from it, but man, fabulous photo. So very, very, very West Coast. So excited about that. All right, guys. Again, I want to say thanks to Minimizer for standing with us always. Minimizer will be with us again in Louisville for Matt's, bringing you the PKY, Paul K. Young Truck Beauty Contest light show, and that'll be Thursday night, if I'm not mistaken.
Nope. Yep.
I want to say
Like 8 to 9:30.
8 to 9:30,
Like
something like that.
Yeah.
But hey, you know how we roll. We get there, we show up. We're going to be there as soon as it's dark enough to start showing the thing to you, and we'll go as long as we can with it. And bearing all different weird things that can happen, like rain, snow, wind, whatever. You don't
None of that's going to happen.
Yeah, don't know.
None of that.
Yeah, no, none of that. So thanks to Minimizer and all the folks there. High Brands really, and I know that you guys might not know who that is, but they also bring you premier hitches. In my world, the number one hitch in the world. That's all we use on all of our transfer dump trucks, pulling doubles in the agricultural and industrial world. That's the one. So appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Thanks always for being a part of our show. What more can I say, Dan? You got any closing comments to let people know about?
I just want to thank everybody for all their years of support and supporting the show and John and his efforts. And we're really looking forward to moving forward and keeping giving you the things you let us know what you want. Let us know. We're just here to entertain you, have a good time. And
any comments, Adam? Any questions?
Just keep up the show. Great show today. They really like the format.
Good. So a lot of you are approving and saying you like it. You guys can certainly add to the comments. Give us any feedback. You can private message us on Facebook. I will answer that and feed Dan that information. You can email Dan directly, editor at 10-4 Magazine, John at 10-4magazine.com, obviously. Get a hold of us and let us know what's on your mind, what you're thinking, how you're feeling, what you want to do. Incidentally, on and one more point about our guys up in Canada, the group's back. So the group with over 700,000 people on it was taken down yesterday. It's back today. So there's hope. I think for social media, somehow that, because we have to really ride very cautiously through this landscape, or else they take us down. Could be,
Right.
We could fall prey to that too. So we do have to kind of remain in.
And you got a big show next week, don't you?
Good point. Good point. Very good. Somebody give this guy a job. Keep him around. I like this guy. He's good. Very good point, Dan. Thank you. Yeah. Tony Justice will be in studio next week with us here at Studio 10-4 weekly update. And we will be back again at Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So wherever that lands you, if you're 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever away from us. But Tony will be in and talking about what's going on in his world, latest releases, music, the good stuff that he does. And man, what a great guy. Has put so much out into the industry, and he's always a part of the shows. Seems like he's always there playing with Roadworks, I believe, the Roadworks guys. Yeah, last year was hanging out with them and playing with them. But we can't wait. The only thing wrong with 2022 is there's no GBATs so far. No. That's about it.
This is a skip year.
So it's their leap year. But happy birthday again to Miss Julia, and happy birthday to 10-4's own Gene Asuji. Gene, we love you. Thank you so much.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And it was their birthdays yesterday. So from John and Dan, of course, Adam handling the production there behind the scenes. Thank you again. Keep the shining side up, everybody. John saying so long from Studio 10-4. We'll look for you next week.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Right.